So, check this out, people. Today is 99 degrees in the Philippines. It is almost impossible to go outside. Most people stay indoors. The day doesn't begin till about 4 or 5 in the evening. Those people who do go out go to the mall where it's cool. If they have AC at home, they'll just stay home. Most people don't have AC. If you own an AC here in the Philippines, you'll be running it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so sometimes it's just best to adapt to the heat the way I have. I come from the US where we have summer, winter, fall, spring, and I never imagined that I'd be living in a tropical place. I'm Puerto Rican, I was born in Puerto Rico, but I can't stand the heat. Luckily, since I've been here now for about a year, I've learned to adapt. I've been here for a whole year without an AC. And so my body's pretty much adapted to the environment, but it still gets really hot during the day where it's just easier to stay indoors. Now, today, I want to talk about something that I think is important for foreigners, especially for those who are thinking about transitioning or coming to the Philippines. I know that a lot of people are leaving, a lot of men at least are leaving their homeland to come to the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam. They're doing this because they know that it's easier for them to find women here who are more traditional, who are more respectful, more humble, a lot sweeter than the women they find back in their home country. I'm from the US, so I can only speak about the US. And so, if you are a man who likes to drink, first of all, it is very inexpensive to live here in the Philippines. You can own an apartment, you can pay your rent on time, your electricity, your water bill, your internet, and it'll probably cost you no more than $250 a month. Now, you can also live in a fancy condo and it'll probably cost you about $300, $400 a month. I opt to live in a simple tenement apartment building where people are more social. I find that when you live in a condo, people come and go a lot. They tend to rent their units out. And so most of the people that you run into are people who are coming and going. It doesn't seem to be a community of camaraderie. And so I don't really enjoy living in a condominium environment. I don't mind visiting and staying in different types of condos or different units or hotels, but in the end, I like to come home where everybody knows me and I know everyone else. So, if you opt to come to the Philippines, men, if you opt to live here, to move here, to transition to the Philippines, because you find a woman or because you're looking for a woman, if you are a bum in the US, you're going to be a bum no matter where you go. You're going to be a bum in the Philippines. If you like to drink, if you're a smoker, you're going to bring those habits with you. If you're someone who likes to argue, who likes to fight, you're going to bring that with you. It doesn't matter where you go, there you are. And so if you're a low life in the US, you're going to be a low life in the Philippines. And if your life doesn't work for you in the US, it's not going to work for you in the Philippines. I'm sorry. Leaving one place for another place, believing that it's going to make you better, it's only going to make you better if you're willing to be better. If you're willing to leave your bad habits behind. But if you think that by coming to the Philippines or by leaving your homeland and thinking that you can start over, starting over means starting over. It doesn't mean leaving one place and bringing all your dirty laundry and your old baggage with you. There are certain changes that you have to make. I don't care if you're a good man or a bad man, an old man or a better man. When you transition to a new country, everything is different. Everything. The environment, the people, the smells, the air, the food you eat, the customs, the ways, the language, everything is different. And so you have to adapt to a new way of life. And if you like to drink back home where you're from, you're going to like to drink everywhere you go. And if you have bad habits, and of course, there's nothing wrong with drinking. I don't drink and I don't smoke, but a lot of Filipinos enjoy conversation over drinks. I mean, these people love life. They know how to party, they know how to celebrate, they know how to socialize. And it's nothing better than socializing with friends amongst beer and alcohol. And I don't drink, but when I'm here and I'm with my friends, I don't mind having a drink or two. But if you're an alcoholic, if you have bad habits, if you're a drug addict back home and you transition to the Philippines, you're only going to come here and it's only a matter of time before you begin looking for the same bad habits here in the Philippines that you look for back home. And so if you're planning to go or to leave the US to go somewhere new, understand that you have to make changes. It is very inexpensive to live here. Again, for about $250 a month, you can have an apartment which covers everything: electric, internet, water, everything, everything. But if you're here to party, if you're here to simply go out to the clubs, to the bars, to find women, it's only a matter of time before you find yourself broken on the streets. It's that easy. And let me tell you, if you don't have a support system like I do, you will find yourself stranded in a country where you may never be able to leave. You may never be able to leave. I've seen stories of men who have come to the Philippines and who have partied and misspent their money and lost it all, and didn't have support back home from the country they're from, no family members to support them, to help them, and they found themselves homeless. And being homeless in the Philippines is very sad. It is very, very sad. You do not want to come here and lose yourself. You need to be responsible. You need to be on point. You need to keep yourself healthy. You need to have a support system, not just here, but back home in the country that you're from. I have my brothers back home in the Bronx. I have my sisters back home in the Bronx. I have my children in Texas. I have my friends in the Bronx and in Connecticut. I have a very strong support system so that if anything went wrong for me here, all I have to do is pick up the phone and have my friends wire me some money, help me with a ticket back home if necessary. But if you burn bridges before you leave because you think you found a place that you're able to survive in and make it in because everything is so inexpensive and the dollar value here is 56 times more than it is worth back home, and you start to burn bridges and you come here to party and you lose everything, including your support system, you're going to find yourself in a world of hurt. You're going to find yourself with no girlfriend, no wife, no support system, because I'm going to tell you right now, though Filipinas love foreigners, one of the main reasons they do is because of the foreign currency, which is valued a lot here in the Philippines. For example, the dollar is worth 56 times more than their dollar. And so a foreigner looks very attractive to a Filipina and their family. Everybody will love you, everybody will celebrate you, especially if you're one of those people who likes to party and pay for everybody's drinks, pay for everybody's food, spend recklessly thinking that you're the man. Once your money has been depleted and you have no more money for the drinks, for the food, for the parties, you will find that little by little, or just as fast as your money's gone, these people will leave you in the drop of your last dime and act like they've never seen you before in their life. And so you need to understand that when you come here, you have to carry yourself with dignity, you have to have class, and you have to carry yourself like a man who understands who he is and where he wants to go. You need to understand that you need to have and find a woman that's willing to stand by you regardless of what you have or what you don't have. But if you come here and you find a woman who stands by you and you misspend and you party and you go to the bar and all you want to do is hang out and you don't treat her right, when you find yourself broke with nothing left, she's not going to stand by you. And there's no welfare here. There's no food stamps here. There are no social services here like there are back home in the US. So you need to come correct or don't come at all. The Philippines is not a place to take lightly. And because I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't party, I'm not here to hang out with the fellas. I'm not here to go to the bars. I'm not here to go to the clubs. I'm here for me. I'm here to spend my money on the things that matter. My bills, number one. The girl who helps me, who takes care of me, who supports me, not financially, but who's here and cooks for me, cleans for me, and make sure that I'm comfortable, make sure that I take my medication, that I visit my doctor. When I'm sick, she maintains and helps me out, takes care of me. My job is to make sure that I handle my business and that I keep my priorities straight. And that is how you got to come here. Any man who comes here thinking that he's going to live large because he's the man, because he's got the money and he's partying and he's drinking and he's smoking and he's doing drugs, this is not the place for that. This is not the place for you to lose yourself and forget who you are. Because if you don't have a support system here and you don't have a support system at home, you're going to find yourself stranded. And if you have a support system at home and you lose your support system here, it's only a matter of time before you have to go right back home and find that you may never want to return. You're going to blame your failures here in the Philippines on the woman you were with. You're going to blame your failures in the Philippines or any country you leave to, right? Those around you or the environment, when in reality, you came here to party. You came here to drink. You came here to smoke. You came here to get high. If you want to get high, do that in your country. If you want to get drunk, do that in your country. If you want to mess around with women, do that in the country you're from. Don't bring your bad habits to the new place you're trying to start over in. Do not bring your bad habits here because it's only going to be your downfall. That's most people who don't make it in the Philippines don't make it because they misspend. They think that because the $10 bill is worth maybe $30 here, that they can overspend, that they can misspend, that they can pay everybody's way. You have to be responsible. You got to handle your business. You got to understand that your bills, your girl, your family are number one. That's it. Everything else is number 3, 4, and 5, if that. And so while I'm here, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything I'm not supposed to. I'm not at the bar, I'm not at the club. If I want to spend my money, I go to the park, I go to the beach, I rent a room, a hotel, a condo, I go to a resort. I live my life, I enjoy it. I look forward to doing these things because I save my money, I hold on to my money, I keep my money, I don't misspend. And so I'm able to appreciate life for what it's worth while I'm here. I'm able to do things for my girlfriend, for her children. We're able to do things together. We share together. She does for me, I do for her. And so there's nothing wrong with drinking, with partying, but there's a limit to everything. And if you come here being irresponsible like you're 12 years old, you're just going to lose yourself and forget that this is in America. Don't be irresponsible here in the Philippines. Don't come here to party. Come here to get your life together. Come here to get a place where you can afford to live and you can afford to live like a king. A place where you can rest and know that if you want to, at any time, you can rent a hotel somewhere, a resort somewhere, because you have the means to do it. I can live with $100 for the whole month here in the Philippines, and I'm just fine. As long as I can pay my rent, my electric, my internet, my cell phone, $100 for me goes a long, long way. I have a lot more than $100 to spend, but what I am saying is that because I don't splurge, because I don't party, because I know where my priorities are, I can live and hold on to $100 for the whole month and still have about $20 left over before I get my pension, before I get my Social Security, before I get my monthly check because I retired some 12 years ago. I retired early. I'm almost 60 years old, people. And unfortunately, you have people who are experiencing a different life for the first time. It's new for them. They're getting all this attention. And then they forget who they are. They forget that just because people are celebrating you, they're not celebrating you, they're celebrating the money you bring. And so you have to be careful. You have to see and know who is genuinely your friend. It's easy to know this. If you're someone who's lived life and who is responsible and you were responsible back home in the country you're from, you're going to be responsible in the new country you're in. If you were a bum in the country you were from, you're going to be a bum in the new country you're in. It doesn't change who you are. You simply pack up your garbage and bring it with you, no matter where you go. And so you need to get yourself together before you leave the country you're from if you want to transition and live in a new country. I can only speak about the Philippines because this is where I live, this is where I visit, this is where I've stayed for months at a time. And so I can always go home because I have the means to do that. I don't overspend, I don't splurge. I don't live like money grows on trees, like I got it like that. You have to be responsible. Millionaires go broke all the time. So if millionaires go broke all the time, what makes you think as a middle class American that you can't go broke in the Philippines and lose everything? And once you lose everything here, it's almost impossible to gain it back. You have to go back home if you're able to, and then start over. And if you enjoy the place that you're in, I love the Philippines. I do whatever I can to hold on to my apartment, to be responsible. And so, because I was responsible at home back in the US, I'm responsible here. I'm fine with waking up and turning on the television and watching Netflix. I'm fine with heating up water before I take a shower because most people don't have running hot water in the Philippines. It's a tropical country. You don't even need hot water. I'm American, I'm used to having it, so you know, I want it. There's certain things you got to give up, certain amenities, but the peace of mind that you get from living here, doesn't matter how noisy it is, doesn't matter how hot it is, doesn't matter how much music is being played in the background, how many roosters are screaming, how many dogs are barking, how many cats are fighting. It doesn't matter. I have a peace that I've never experienced before in my life. I enjoy this country. I enjoy the people. I enjoy my girlfriend's company. She enjoys mine. And so I want to make sure I stay here for as long as possible. If you ever plan on visiting, know this, that if you don't have yourself together back home in the US, don't come here. You're just going to get lost. You're just going to lose yourself. If you're irresponsible back home in the US, you're going to be irresponsible no matter where you go. If you're a miserable person back home in the US, you're just going to bring that misery with you. You got to get your mind right. You got to get yourself together. Leaving doesn't always change things. Leaving the US has helped me because, like most Americans, we deal with a lot of stress. Most of the stress comes from having the weight of paying bills. All Americans do is work to pay bills. That's all we do. Never in my life had I known that there was a place where people work and they don't work to pay bills. They work to eat. They work to eat. There's a certain there's a priority here in the Philippines where people understand what it is they're working for. They understand the value of money. Their concern isn't a flat screen TV if they don't need it. If they have a 32-inch flat old school TV, their priority isn't hot water when they have running water. They got water. They don't opt for fancy things when they have the things they need in order to get by every day. Unlike Americans who work for the better car when they already got a car, who work for a bigger TV when they already got a 50-inch screen TV, they got to go the next level up. A bigger house when they live by themselves, and it isn't necessary for us to own a 3-bedroom home when we live alone. And so all we do back home is work to pay bills, work to pay bills. We get ourselves into debt, unnecessary debt. And I find here that when people work, they work to enjoy life. They work, and after work, they hang out with friends. They don't have the same levels of stress. Yes, there's a lot of poverty here, but when you see these people smile, when you see these people laugh and playing and drinking and talking and laughing with friends and family, it's so easy to forget these things. And so it's a totally different environment where it's less stressful. Now, I can only speak for myself because I have the American dollar. Thank God I was born and raised in America and I was able to retire early and bring the American dollar with me here to the Philippines. That's the only reason I am able to enjoy life here. Foreigners cannot work in the Philippines. You can own a business, but you have to hire Filipinos to run it. And so Filipinos or the Philippine government look out for their people. They're number one. Foreigners are pretty much nobodies here. If you can't carry yourself, no one will carry you. No one. You lose your job here, you're done. If you have an incredible woman, I'm talking about incredible woman who come once in a lifetime, and you're a foreigner and you lose your job here and you lose your paperwork, your passport, and you have no support back home and you can't make it back home, it is very rare that you find a woman who's willing to carry you. And so you need to make sure that you got yourself together. If not, you will die here miserably, miserably. So the Philippines is a great place to live. The Philippines is an incredible place to meet people, to enjoy life, but you got to have yourself together. You can't come here and be irresponsible. Being here is like having a genie in a bottle, which gives you three wishes. And if you don't use those three wishes wisely, you're going to make the wrong wishes and you're going to have the wrong outcome. And in the end, you're going to lose your genie in the bottle and you're going to find yourself lost. And you don't want to be homeless here in the Philippines. You do not want to die here. You won't have access to medicine, hospitals, or doctors. If you can't pay out of pocket here, you're not going to be seen. It's just that simple. They don't care who you are. So if you want to come to the Philippines, come correct or don't come at all.